A fully autonomous driving system without even a steering wheel, a battery and chassis that is custom built for the urban environment, all at the same price as a Volkswagen Golf without compromising any of the Tesla's well-known emphasis on technology. Welcome to Tesla Global, the home of Tesla news. If you enjoy the video, leave a like. Sounds like a car that's too good to be true? Right, well, as it turns out, that car might be on its way to manufacturing before you can say lithium ion. That's right, people, today we're going to be talking about the much anticipated and much rumored Tesla hatchback, the so-called Model 2. So wear your vinyl leather seat belts and trust your lives to the autopilot, because we're going to tell you everything about it as of right now. Tesla has released a total of 7 cars, 9 if you include both of the semis. These have included the first Roadster, the new upcoming Roadster, the Cybertruck, and the 4 mainstream cars: the super expensive Model S, sedan, the huge Model X SUV, and the smaller sedan SUV pair of Model 3s and Y. And while it is a pretty well-known meme that Elon decides to name all the Tesla models as S3, X and Y in order to spell, well, you can figure it out, it does not mean that Tesla is done making new cars. In fact, far from it. Because while for most of its history Tesla has been a rich person car, with the vast majority of cars only being bought by influencers and entrepreneurs, Elon has for a long time maintained that his end goal with Tesla is to bring EVs to the general public, and well, with this announcement it looks like his dream might just come true. But just what exactly are we talking about here, and why is it so important? Well, let's talk about it. You see, according to most accounts, the Model 2, which by the way is not a confirmed working name, but just a code name that is used by Tesla for the project, is Tesla's answer to the high production cost vehicles that make up the largest portion of sales for any car manufacturer. That's right, the model Ford Focuses and VW Golf's a hatchback. And here's what it means: if Tesla is able to launch this vehicle at the right price and with the right range of features, not only will they be able to sell to millions of dedicated fans, but they've also been able to open themselves up to a range of customers that they can't dream of reaching with their current cars. The regular folk, from your sister, who never cares about what car she drives, to your old folk or even younger new drivers looking for a safe long-term investment. By making a car focused on these people, the Tesla will be able to grow even further than even Elon. And this could potentially be their most important car. It is no wonder that the company has been extremely secretive about the details surrounding this project, both to make sure its hype train continues to go strong, but also to prevent competitors from finding out too much about the machine. That being said, we can make some educated guesses, which when combined with a few leaks we've had of the car gives us a pretty good overview of the kind of thing it's gonna be. First up, those of you familiar with Tesla cars will know that the company has 2 design schemes: the older, more angular design that it uses in its expensive models, the Model S, the Model X, as well as the new Roadster, and the more rounded, minimalistic, and friendly design the company has used in its more affordable models, the Model 3 and Model Y. So with that in mind, it should be pretty clear that the Model 2 is probably going to fall in the latter category. And wouldn't you know it, we already have an alleged sketch of the vehicle as shown by the EV News website Electric, which shows exactly that: a small but sleek hatchback, with smooth round lines extremely reminiscent of the Model 3. But as you may know, the exterior design is far from the only thing that makes up a car, so now let's turn our attention to the other important bit of a car experience: the insides. Here too we can look at Tesla's history to see what the company plans to do. You see, when Tesla created the Model 3, to make it cheaper, they basically took a Model S, put it in a new chassis, and slowly removed the bits and pieces that they deemed unnecessary to cut costs, and that is probably the same that's going to happen with the Model 2. According to a few recent reports, including one from the financial advising company Morgan Stanley, the newer model will not only carry on the signature features, or should I say lack of features, from the Model 3, like the lack of clumsy physical switches, vents, and the instrument cluster, and instead have a large infotainment screen, which will also probably have a minor downgrade in size. But the controls and instruments cluster are probably not the only things going away this time. Because as it turns out, this time around there's a very real possibility that Tesla will release at least one version of the Model 2 without even a steering wheel. That's right, at a conference held between Tesla's biggest employees, as well as Elon, the former CEO, asked his employees, do you want to have this car come with a steering wheel and pedals? Which might sound outrageous right now, but remember, the same was said about the lack of an instrument cluster when the Model 3 came out, and yet it is going just as strong as ever, and has even prompted other brands to slowly strip away their cars of unnecessary stuff. Throw in the fact that Elon's ultimate goal with the EV industry is to have fully autonomous vehicles that require no driver. I don't think it's a stretch that the Model 2 might be the first step towards that goal. And finally, last but not certainly least, we have the part of the car that we know the least about: the power. Seeing as an electric vehicle, cells are probably the most important part of it. It's not a surprise that the company has been so secretive about what they intend to put in the machines. But we can pretty easily assume that it's going to be a battery pack made up of Tesla's newly developed, supposed to be cheaper to manufacture, produce 5 times more energy, and have 16% more range as well as 6 times more power, which should give even the tiny car around 250 to 300 miles of range. Now that covers all the stuff about the car itself, so let's talk about the production and release. As you probably already know, Tesla has been facing problems with production for the past few years, both from a serious lack of factories as well as the pandemic and related issues to that. But as the new Tesla plants continue to open up, in places like Texas, Berlin and even China, and as the pandemic slowly starts to become an unpleasant and distant memory, the likelihood of the Model 2's development grows each day. In fact, just a year ago the company announced that they had plans to establish a new R&D center in China to develop and later manufacture a Chinese-style electric car, and has since been hiring professionals to design these alleged cars, which many think to be the Model 2. And then there's the Morgan Stanley report, in which analyst Adam Jonas said, "We believe Tesla could bring to market a vehicle at a $15,000 price point or less, likely this decade if not before 2025, and that $15,000 price point, which is even lower than the previously estimated $25,000, also means that the production is happening as we speak. But until the company reveals more details, that's all we know for now." Click on one of the 4 videos on your screen right now and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Ford reportedly eliminates lease to buy option on electric vehicles. As of June 15, 2022, Ford will no longer offer the opportunity to purchase its 3 all-electric vehicles, the F-150 Lightning, Mustang Mach-E, and E-Transit van, for new leases. Ford informed dealers in a letter that it was discontinuing the end-of-lease purchase option for the E-Transit van, Mustang Mach-E, and F-150 Lightning. Ford says, "You do not have the option to purchase the vehicle at the end of the lease term." This change happened on June 15 in 37 states. The remaining 14 states and the District of Columbia will follow suit by the 4th quarter of this year. Ford confirmed to Cars Direct that its communication was legitimate. The states where Ford's end-of-lease purchasing options will expire are Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Idaho, Illinois, Kentucky, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, Vermont, Virginia, Washington, West Virginia, and Wyoming. Ford's action is only the most recent illustration of how automakers are incorporating more and more restrictive clauses into their leasing agreements. With used vehicles selling at prices sometimes as much as or higher than brand new models due to parts shortages and semiconductor constraints, Ford may be looking to take used EVs and make another profit on them after an initial lease is up. Ford said in its letter that the goal is primarily focused on alleviating additional carbon emissions. The purchase of the BEV lease is to aid in our goal of delivering carbon neutrality by 2050 by controlling the vehicle battery through its life, keeping it in the Ford network. Consumers who choose lease purchase options have the opportunity to purchase their vehicle for a predetermined sum of money that is partially based on a residual value at the end of the lease. Ford looks to be emulating Tesla, which has limited lease buyouts on a few of its models. In April, Tesla eliminated their lease buyout options completely, never allowing them on the Model 3 or Model Y, to begin with. The electric automaker updated its website earlier this year to reflect its updated leasing policy, stating, "All Tesla vehicles delivered on or after April 15, 2022 are not eligible for purchase." The company is dedicated to the battery supply chain network so that battery electric vehicles, BEVs, are more sustainable and economical for our consumers. Ford Motor Company is committed to making battery electric vehicles, BEVs, more sustainable and affordable for our customers by localizing the complex battery supply chain network, creating recycling options for end-of-life vehicles, and increasing U.S. battery production. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.